Okay. I almost didn't make it right at 8. I was almost on at 8:01. I was pushing it because I realized all of a sudden I really had to go to the bathroom. So I was like 7:58 running to the bathroom. Hi everybody. I'm going to try this comment thing, see if I fix the problem. Hello. Because poor Viviana, even though I'm sure she's already on. I'm sure Viviana would comment for me. Look. Hello. It works. I'm sure Viviana would comment for me the rest of her life. I don't want to put that burden on her if I can help it. If you don't follow her blog, by the way, you need to be. It's called Puentes. Hold on, let me find it. Puentes. Her name is Viviana Tracy, and she is an incredible CI teacher here in Louisiana, and she has a great blog. I've posted it for you. Hi, everybody. So, I am so spoiled. Look what I just did tonight. I'm so cheeky. I spoiled myself and ordered Waiter. It's like Uber Eats, but different. And I just shoved a ton of food down my mouth. It was so good because Paul is away on bike night tonight. So I get to treat myself. Every time he has a bike night, I get to treat myself to fancy food, which is fun. 2 more seconds of stalling while more people join us. Well, not 2 seconds. I might take more than 2 seconds. Is I can already tell you when the next Live with Loca is, and it is going to be the best one yet. I decided this one, I literally planned for it 5 minutes ago. Remember why I like these live videos? I decided that it needed to be 2 parts. So part 2 of Brain Breaks Live with Loca is going to be Sunday. And no whining, no seas quejon, don't be a whiner. I'm going to tell you the time. And if you're East Coast, then you can stay up because it's going to be epic. And it's going to be the best ever. And you can stay up past your bedtime. And if you are not East Coast, then there's no reason you shouldn't be there. It's going to be at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time because that way for sure, Isla Rose will be asleep. And it's going to be epic. And so it's going to be part 2, Brain Breaks. And I have a special guest. I'm so excited. I could faint. My fiance does do a good job with my hair, but my fade is kind of weak right now, not going to lie. It's about 2 weeks old. I need a new one. I'm trying to grow it out on the top for my wedding so that I could do something a little bit fancier for it, but just on the top. I'm not sacrificing my sides and my back, but I'm trying to grow it out so it looks nicer, and the roots are very intentional because I'm waiting to dye it for the wedding. So anywho, so there's the one thing I need to tell you. The second thing I needed to tell you to waste a couple more seconds is that, of course, my cat is trying to enter the screen as he always does, is that 2 more people signed up for my workshop in New Orleans, which is exciting. One person is flying in from Oklahoma, super exciting. And I got a text today that I have 33 people enrolled for my workshop. Disney, stop it. My cat's insane. For 33 people enrolled for my workshop in Milwaukee for Comprehensible Midwest. 33 people. It's a Sunday workshop. It'll be all day Sunday, and it's on novelty, a year's worth of novelty in your CI classroom. It's for teaching K through 12th grade. It'll be applicable to all. There's 33 people signed up. It can have way more than that, but 33 is my favorite number, but I don't want it to stop there. So 33 is just lucky, so I felt like sharing that with you. So I'm going to start into Brain Breaks. I'm so excited. One really nice thing I just noticed about doing this on a school night is I still look nice for you. I didn't bother changing. I got home about 45 minutes ago, ordered my fancy food from waiter, and I am still in my work clothes. So it's not like the weekend where sometimes I'm in my jammies and I don't have makeup on and my hair is done. It's pretty nice. Okay, let's see if there's any comments before I get started. Yay, shout out to Viviana. Hola, 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 lots of holas. Ooh, somebody call me guapa. Oh, it's Rachel. Hola, Rachel. Bonsoir. Is that like, that's good night, right? That's like buenas noches. I think it is. Yay! Everybody's saying hola, 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 hola. Actful. Somebody said Actful. I'm really excited about Actful. Guess what? Actful is here. Not only is Actful here in Louisiana, Actful is here in New Orleans. Actful is here in my region. I'm Region 1 for LFLTA, Louisiana Foreign Language Teachers Association, and Actful is here. I could faint. Yes, come to Actful. I get to present at Actful too. I'm really, really super excited about that. Okay, so I'm so excited you're excited for new ideas. You're going to be really excited for part 2. Okay, I think we're there. Somebody said I'm funny. Thank you. That's kind. Okay, funny looking, huh? Okay, I'm going to shut off my little dingy thing on my phone because somebody is tweeting. Okay. Oh, it's Viviana. Of course it's Viviana. She's so awesome and supportive. I love you're coming to Actful. So many people are coming to Actful. Okay, so part 1 tonight is going to be talking about brain breaks. Even if you already do them, it's really important to constantly go back to the who, what, when, why. Is that all of it? Who, what, when, why, where. Just not in that order or in that order or whatever you want. It's really important to go back to that all the time because I think a lot of time we get fixated on the how and the brain breaks themselves, and they all have to be rooted in the theory of why we're doing them. I think a lot of people have pigeonholed me. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. Where they think that I'm a teacher with a lot of amazing tips and tricks for brain breaks, and that's what I'm good at. And people don't realize that I have a lot of other things to share, and I think I'm not saying that all of you do that, but a lot of you hear the word brain breaks and you think La Maestra Loca, which I love, but I've not blogged a lot about brain breaks recently because I want to share other things and because I have a lot to share, not just brain breaks. And I also have received a lot of negative feedback because people push back and say, well, it feels like a lot more games and less time in the target language. And that is the purpose of a brain break. If you've ever seen me present on brain breaks, one of the things I'm very explicit about is teaching my children what a brain break is. All of my kids, all of my scholars know what a brain break is and why we do them. They're listed as brain breaks on my wall. I call them descansos, rests. And the kids know they are not games. They feel like games. They want to play them as games, but they're not games because they are not lasting that long. And the purpose of them is for truly a break in the rigor, right? So it's really important to always root it back in that, especially because if you do get any push from admin ever, it's really important that you have a whole ton of reasons of why this is best practice, why using brain breaks in your classroom is best practice. So it has revitalized my classroom. Yay, Dawn, aren't they? That's remarkable. It is the right word. Thank you, pigeonholed. Hola, Beck. Have fun with Wisconsin. I'm so excited about Wisconsin. It's gonna be so fun. And I've never been there, so that should be awesome. So I'm gonna talk to you in this part 1 about the who, what, when, where, and why. And then in part 2, I'm gonna talk to you about the how. Part 2 is going to be, I've already said it, but a lot of you weren't on yet. It's going to be Sunday, September 23rd at 9 p.m. Don't whine about it. It's going to be epic. Stay awake. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's worth it. Whew, 2 of you hopped off, and then 2 of you hopped back on. I don't know if it was the same people, but 2 people might have got really upset about that time. So, Dawn Noble must not be on because I have not seen any like hearts floating or happy faces floating. So what's good is I've fixed the comments, but I think I've lost the ability to see you reacting to anything. Dawn is on. I see a smiley face from her, but it's really weird. I'm not seeing like the reactions, which is fine. Okay, here we go. So, who is what I'm starting with. Who needs brain breaks? This is the easiest question, and it's often the most misunderstood. Who? Every single human in the world. If you are teaching a human in your class, whether they are 2 years old or 88 years old or anywhere in between, even older than 88 years old, they need a brain break. Every single human needs a brain break. Then there's the common misconception that littles need brain breaks more frequently than older kids. It's not about being little and having a little brain versus older. Littles need constant transitions into a new activity, but it doesn't necessarily mean they need brain breaks more frequently. All of our brains process language, especially when taught using comprehensible input, if it is truly highly compelling, highly comprehensible, but pushing them like truly I+1, like it's there, but it's just pushing them a little bit further. All of our brains are processing that. All of our brains feel that rigor, and we all need a brain break. The biggest way to experience this or to know that you need a brain break is to truly, and it's what I always tell people, you need to have an experience in a language that you don't know. You need to be sitting in a classroom with a CI teacher of a language you do not know. And so often people are like, oh yeah, I've been to a Spanish classroom and they're French teachers. Or, oh yeah, I've been to a French classroom and they're a Spanish teacher. Nope, doesn't count at all. They are way too similar. They're way too similar. You need to go to a classroom of a language that you really do not know. Welsh, Chinese, Japanese, Hebrew. You've got to go and experience CI as a student. And then you're going to feel it. And you're a language teacher. You're a language person, possibly a polyglot. So you're already more willing, eager, enthusiastic about acquiring a language. And your brain will need it so bad. And you'll be craving it so bad. And that is what truly sells people on brain breaks. The second thing that sells them is like actually seeing how their children benefit and how they participate more. I keep on trying to fix this cough. It's really weird. This is what after all day it looks like. But that's the most important thing, is to like really know from experience what it feels like. And if you've felt it from experience, from like sitting in a French classroom and you're a Spanish teacher, imagine sitting in a classroom of a language you're like, that's way over your head. That like it's not familiar at all. Which is for our kids, the majority of them, whatever language you're teaching is brand new to them. That's really, really important. Okay, 4 more comments. Oh, thank you, Dawn. You still found a way. My students constantly look drained about 30 minutes into class and ask nicely for a brain break. Not sweet, because they know they need one. Need more Mandarin, isn't it so? It's the best thing ever. I love Mandarin so much. German, Russian, yeah, those are other great examples. Indonesian, and that's what you teach, I think. Okay, anyways, so that's who. Every single human. If you are teaching a human in your room, they need a brain break, period. The next is what? What are brain breaks? And they are short. There, again, if you've probably heard me say this before, people are like, I can see what brain breaks do for your kids. I get so excited when I watch your videos on YouTube. You transition so quickly. Your kids get sat down so quickly. I just can't do that because I can't afford to take 10 minutes to do a brain break. What? 10 minutes? Oh my gosh. No, never. No, I can't. No, you can't afford 10 minutes. I can't afford 10 minutes. You can't. What? We get no minutes with our kids compared to other teachers. Absolutely, you can't afford 10 minutes. No way, Jose. I am talking about 30 seconds. I'm talking about 2 seconds to 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, several times in the class. They are short. They have to be short. They cannot be lengthy. They have to be fast. And they should feel fast-paced. Not all of them. There's slower ones too. But it should be a break in whatever you're doing and something totally different from what you're doing in your language classroom. A true break in the rigor. They are very short. They have to be short. In order for this to happen, you have to have a transition. People see my videos and they're like, oh, they sit so fast and then you're straight back into the language. That didn't come, like, I know I'm magical and I know I have like unicorn boogers to help with discipline and I know I have fairy magic. I am not using my fairy magic to control my kids in my room. That's weird. That took so much practice to get them to a point. You guys, we have 70 people watching right now. I'm really happy about that. It takes so much work and practice to get it to a point where kids can sit immediately. They have to be trained. You have to model exactly what you want. Model. And you drill it into their brains until they are like, oh, we know. They have to feel frustrated. Disney, stop it. Stop. They have to feel frustrated with how many times you've practiced something, then you know you've done it enough. But if they're frustrated and it's still not right, stop. Keep in mind a couple things. Keep in mind that if the majority of your students are not understanding or not following an instruction, it's not because they don't want to. Most of the time, it's because the instruction isn't crystal clear. They need crystal clear instructions and expectations. They have to be modeled for them, and it needs to be short explanations of what's happening. So as far as transitions go, you have to have something that triggers for them that we're changing. Something's happening, we're moving, something else is going to happen next. So my transition, everybody knows, if I say it right now, I guarantee at the other end, most of you will say it. I say hola, hola. My kids say, correct. My kids say Coca-Cola. So that's what I start my year with. It is not all year. I change those throughout the year. But right now, I'm in my second week of school. So yes, we're still doing hola, hola, Coca-Cola. Yes, we're still doing that. My cat's going to fall. Can you see this box? He keeps on crawling toward the edge of the box, just testing it because he wants my attention because he's a butthead. Oh, there's 10 new comments. I should be reading these as I go. I think of my experience with Mandarin all the time. Yeah, it's the best thing to do for yourself. My brain breaks are no longer than 1 minute. Yay, they should never be. Good job. Oh, look, I'm doing my new signs. I'm teaching all my kids to do these. Can't wait to blog about those. I love the brain break emoji. It's so good. Thank you for the hearts. It's called School PD. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm excited that you're talking about it, and there's a glass of wine. That looks delicious. Would Mike Pito stop and talk about it for 20 seconds method be considered a brain break? I am so glad you said this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then I'm going back to more what? Because this is a perfect question to ask during the what? Lisa, thank you for asking this question. No. Here's why. And I think this is what you're talking about. Because I've heard Tina say it before too. And that might be their opinion. In my opinion, it is not. And I think it's really, I have a great relationship with both of them. We're really, really, really close friends. And I think it's really safe for us to like disagree on things. I would say 20 seconds, turn and talk about what we've just been talking about. That is a comprehension check. That's a CFU, a check for understanding. You're giving them a second to check in with each other, to confer in English in L1. Is it a break for their brain? Sure. Yeah, because they're going into L1, but they are thinking about the target language that has been fed to them. They're thinking about the input. It is not a brain break. A brain break has to be a true break in the rigor where they are not thinking about whatever you've been doing in class. That's such a great question. Thank you for asking it. Now, having said that, another piece of the what is these brain breaks don't have to be in English. All of my brain breaks, with the exception of having to teach some of them because I don't want to take, especially when my kids are so novice right now. If I introduce a new brain break and I need to take 20 seconds of English to explain something rather than spending 10 minutes pantomiming it, he's such a butthead. Rather than spending so much time pantomiming it, I'm going to take the 20 seconds and just speak English. That's what I'm going to do. So, sorry, the dumb cat. He's lovely, really. But they don't have to be in English. I would say in the past, people said absolutely has to be in English. If you're doing brain breaks, you want to give them a real true break in that rigor. Stop using target language. For me, it's easier for me to manage my classroom if I make the kids feel like there's never an opportunity for them to speak in English unless there's an explicit instruction from me. I have found that if I let them do a brain break in English, it takes me way longer to regain their focus and replant our brains in the Spanish, in the target language world. That's just what I've found. So my brain breaks are all in the target language or silent. And when I say all in the target language, people are like, oh, rock, paper, scissors, roca, papel, tijeras. I'm like, no, oh God, that's a lot of words. That's really confusing. Especially for novices, you don't say rock, paper, scissors. You say uno, dos, tres, counting. Most kids, oh my gosh. I'm at this brand new school. Kids are like, I know Spanish. I can count to 20. I can count to 10. I'm like, oh, that's so good. That's so great. Yes. Oh my gosh. Everybody feels confident in that, except for maybe 2 kids who don't know how to count to 10. So this uno, dos, tres is easy enough. Uno, dos, tres, dale. Y son deux. Un, deux, trois, voilà. Right? Ein, zwei, try. Nope. Don't copy me on that. I don't know. Kids can do this. They know how to do this. And it's something they're already familiar with. Rock, paper, scissors, they're already familiar with. Don't make them say those words. Then they're focusing on that vocabulary and not like just simple language. So my brain breaks, yes, they're all in the target language, but they're really simple target language. I did a dance lesson. Every break we learned one dance move. The kids loved it. That's fun. How often do you change the brain breaks? I'll get there. It is Disney. We played rock, paper, scissors today. That's awesome. Okay, here we go. So another piece of the what, back to transitions, you have to come up with a transition that works for you. It might not be hola, hola, Coca-Cola. I know how to use my voice because I was trained in the theater. And so I know how to support from my diaphragm. I know how to drink water, and I don't even drink enough. I know how to use my voice and not wear out my vocal cords. And yes, I am extremely loud. Yes, that is all day. Yes, my energy is high all day. Don't ask me how I get my energy. I don't know. But my voice is my most powerful tool. It's also your most powerful tool. So if you know that you cannot get your voice over 31 kids loud enough to silence them when they're playing a quick 30-second game, you should not be saying hola hola, Coca-Cola. You need to have a noisemaker of some kind. Carol Gobb has a million noisemakers. She switches them out all the time, right? So whatever you need to call their attention. I had one teacher, after a workshop I gave, went out and bought a gong. Like a full-size gong that he would boom, and the whole class is like, quick back to your seat, oh gosh. And then they got silent. Like, so cool. So whatever, I mean, don't go out and buy a gong and then say, La Maestra Loca told me to buy a gong, and then have your principal call me, please. But if you want to buy a gong and then send me pictures and videos, you can do that. Anyways, whatever you need to do to transition them, and then you got to drill it. Practice it, 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 till they're blue in the face and they're frustrated, until it is perfect, until you have 100% participation. My kids were not happy with me at the beginning of the year. They were frustrated. I am the new teacher. They are pushing as hard as they can push. I don't have relationships with them yet, so they are testing me. And I kept my positive attitude and was like, we're going to try again. Uh-oh, missing 5 of us. That's okay. We're going to try again. Wow, 17 of us look incredible. That's what I want from everybody. Everybody track him. Everybody track her. Man, they look great. That's what we want from everybody. Stayed super chipper and happy and Maestra Loca, and they have it now. They're at 100%. My 4th grade classes don't have it yet. Have we started Spanish yet? Nope. We're 2 weeks in? Yep. Tomorrow is my 5th class with them. I tested 5 minutes of Spanish at the end of class on Tuesday. They were really intrigued. I gave them a taste of like, hey, as soon as you're ready, this is what you will have. And I think they're going to buy in. But they're not ready yet. They're still having way too many side conversations with me, like talking about their hopes and dreams and trying to set norms with them. So until we can get 100% participation, we're not going. Okay, so I am going to tell you now about, so once you have the what and you've practiced it, then you can start doing brain breaks. Let me answer some of these questions. My kids do not get into dancing at all. It's sad. So Sarah, couple comments on that. 1, don't be too sad. Some classes, it's just not their thing. 2, it's really important for them to know and see how you feel about dancing, and to know and see videos of kids their age and how they feel about dancing. Even little things like the Fortnite dances. I know you're probably talking about Zumba and stuff, but the Fortnite dances are everything right now. It's one of my kids' favorite brain breaks. They're everything. It's really important to keep those things in mind, but also some of them just aren't going to go for it, and you don't want to ever do anything that they're like, oh, I hate this, especially when it's really supposed to be just a brain break. You don't want to do brain breaks they hate, because what's the point of them getting up and doing it then? So don't be hard on yourself, and you have to be able to make a fool and dance in front of them too. I dance every single day. I am a hot mess. It is awful. And my kids think that I think that I'm a really good dancer. Unfortunately, there are two girls that I used to teach last year who now watch these live videos. So they're discovering all of my secrets, which I just think is really obnoxious. I don't think they should be watching, but I can't prevent them, and they're sweet, and they say they want to see me and hear my voice, which is just melt my heart sweet. But they're discovering that I don't actually think I'm a good dancer. They're learning that secret right now. Girls, do not tell anybody. Elmo, Woot Woot, that's their nicknames. Do not tell anybody. So no, I don't really think I'm a good dancer, but I make it sound like to them that I think I am the best. In fact, that's how I'm building one relationship with one kid that I could just tell he is a relationship kid. You need him in your pocket. First day I could see he was ready to push buttons. He was, and I saw him, instead of lining up, dancing really well, like super well. And I went over to him and I was like, we're in a line. The expectation is level 0. We're in a line. I noticed you dancing though, and I had to tell you, you're a really good dancer. You're going to be great someday. And he was like, I am great. What are you talking about? And I said, no, I'm telling you, like, you're awesome. You're really awesome for your age. And like, when I was your age, I didn't dance like that. And it took me a long time to become like professional like I am now. But man, you're going to get there. And he's like, I could take you. We could have a dance off right now. And I said, well, sounds like we're going to have to do that in Spanish then. I need you to line up level 0. And he's like, he got in line. He's like ready to go. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have you. I have you. We still haven't had a dance off, but we talk about it every day. And in the hall, he's like, you know this one? And he like does a little, I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, actually, I learned that one 2 years ago. He's like, it wasn't invented 2 years ago. I'm like, I actually invented it. And then I'm like, no, I didn't. Okay, I have to tell you the truth. I didn't invent it, but I'm really, really good at it. I'm like the second best person at it, other than the person who invented it. And meanwhile, you could pay me $5,000 to tell me to learn that in 2 hours. And there's no shot. No shot. I'm an awful dancer. But I pretend like I'm a great dancer. And that makes a difference. Okay, so instructions in L1. Yeah, God, don't spend too much time explaining, because a lot of time it's just like they will lose interest, and it defeats the point of a brain break. You have a big cowbell for your transition. That's epic. I just tried very tiny stand up, please, sit, please at the beginning, and less than half did it. 2 weeks later, they all do it with no complaints. Yeah, huge. Can you talk later about the idea of they're not ready for the target language once you start? Hold on. Can you talk about the idea of they're not ready for the target language once you start? You don't go back into English. Oh, you mean with my 4th graders? Yeah, I know. Once I'm into Spanish, there's no more English unless unless I have to explain a brain break or something like that. I need to be confident that they're not going to have those side conversations when we start. Yes, it's going to happen, but it's going to be minimal, and I'm going to be able to get it under control with proximity, with lightning fast, like eye contacts with them, with just small redirection. I need to be able to handle that. And right now it's like 10 people still talking in the class. So I'm not going to start into Spanish. You are very creative. Oh, hola, Brandy. You are very creative. I was speaking about you to my boss. I've applied all your methods and it's been great. I love your videos. Can you come to Virginia in the summer? Email me. Hi, mommy. Daddy's asleep already. Hi, mom. I'm glad you're here. Hola, Raylyn. I'm your favorite brain break. Raylyn is my history teacher friend in Colorado. She's the best. She's coming to my wedding. Omar, Omar! Oh my God, I hope you're still on. I love you so much. I miss you. Um, Dawn, I tell the kids that I chose them over Juilliard. Yes, Dawn. This is why I love you. I think I'm going to do the same thing now. That's a great white lie. You guys, I'm going to post that right now. Hold on. I have this great blog called, it's probably one of my favorites, The Power of the White Lie. And there is nothing more powerful than white lies. And it's absolutely the most important thing in teaching. And now my students are going to be like, what? You white lied to us? Dang it. That's a brilliant one. I've posted it in the comments. God, there's so many comments tonight. I teach middle school. So when I have kids in both, they ask for brain breaks in English classes too, which I really do, which I usually do because it gives away relationships and builds a sense of community. Maybe off topic, but do you feel like a lot of these strategies in CI can be applied to other curricula? It is not off topic. I was so excited this summer. I went to Columbus and in June, and Columbus, Ohio, and I did a full day, and they asked me right before I got there if I could open up my classroom management session and my brain break session to all content areas. Thank God I did, because their teachers, only 3 or 4 of their language teachers came to me all day. Like literally 80 some teachers were going to somebody else, somebody that they hired like project-based learning stuff. They're just not doing CI. They're not super open to it yet. Not everybody. These 4 teachers were great, but I tell you what, if they hadn't opened it to everybody else, I would have had very small sessions. They opened it to everybody. I had culinary arts teachers, science teachers, math teachers. I've done this brain breaks presentation for all contents. It's essential that we're doing them. My students actually advocated last year that I teach other teachers in my building to start integrating them into their content areas. I don't know how many people did, but yeah. I'm glad you love my hair, Mindy. Thank you. It's at the very end of the day. So Omar says, my kids are doing salsa and merengue. I love it. Thanks, Maestra Loca. Omar, oh my gosh, you and your kids dancing, you need to film that and put that on YouTube. That would be amazing. I'd love to be able to share with my colleagues that don't teach world languages, because it's awesome. I have a free presentation on Teachers Pay Teachers. Viviana, if you're still on, could you post it for me? It's a free presentation on Teachers Pay Teachers for brain breaks, and it's great to use for departments if you want to. What do you think about using a sign for no Spanish? I'm confused by that. Assign no Spanish. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to pause on questions because I want to get back real quick. If you are having side conversations, you need to take a whole day for a restorative conversation in English and stop those side conversations. You cannot have side conversations. You won't get anywhere in language. If you have like a restorative justice person in your building, have a restorative conversation with them. I know you're getting married too on October 27th. Mine is the 20th. I'm super excited. So IEPs who can't talk, yeah, you just pretend. I have 2 in one class and 1 in another. They can show me with gestures and stuff that they're understanding, and they're doing really, really well actually so far. So the next thing I'm going to jump into is when you do them. Oh, you said, how do you handle kids with IEPs who can't talk? Oh, Spanish, not special. 2 of my Spanish students are part of a program where they partner with special needs students. They told me they started doing your brain breaks with them, and they love them and ask for them every day. Yay. No English. What do you mean a sign for no English? Oh, like post-it? You could have that. I try and steer away from language with no. Like, you don't want to always talk about what you don't want. You want to talk about what you do want and constantly model what you do want. So if you steer away from the language with no, in fact, my rules have always said Spanish, Spanish, Español, Español, Inglés, no. I've taken out the Inglés, no. This year, my students created the rules. It's pretty much the same rules. I figured out how to steer them there. I'm going to blog about that eventually. But my rule now around Spanish is just español siempre, Spanish always, so that I'm just constantly pointing up to that. Like, remember, we're here. And it's the second week of school. They need a lot of redirection, but it's so much better, and I can do it. Thank you, Viviana. Here's the Brain Break presentation. Viviana posted it. It's a link to the Brain Breaks presentation. It's totally free to download. What's restorative thing you mentioned? Restorative justice. So if you look it up, definitely look it up. Having restorative conversations with your kids. It's the idea of like regaining and rebuilding a community, or building a community if there's a lot of disrespect, to be able to get work done, what you need to do. So we have a restorative justice coordinator and diversity and equity person in our building. And so she actually probably next week is going to come and lead one with one of my 4th grade classes that's just really struggling right now with disrespect. And 7 or 8 kids are so ready for the Spanish they could cry. They're so ready. And the rest of the class is not there. We're just not respecting each other. Everybody's talking over each other. I can't go more than 2 minutes without being interrupted, and it's just not, the method's not going to work like that. So I've spent a lot of time just explaining that to them and explaining my expectations and remodeling and being patient, but I need more support. And so I'm probably going to ask her to come in and host a restorative conversation with me. Okay. 2 or 3 questions that you would ask in restorative circle for side combos. I think the first thing is asking kids, Rachel, first asking kids how side conversations affect the class, how it affects the person, people next to them, the class, the teacher, how I can support them, because a lot of kids are like, oh, they don't know how to take that when I'm like, how can I support you? How can I help you get to a point where we can really succeed in Spanish? I'm going to table the restorative conversations because that's a whole thing, and it's not actually my strength, but I am happy to talk about it more, just not right now. I want to get straight back to brain breaks. So the next piece is when. When do you do brain breaks? This is the biggest question I am emailed, and it's probably the most frustrating email back, because I say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you. Here's why I can't answer that question. Hold on. I can't answer that question because I don't know your school. I don't know your community. I don't know your kids. I don't know each individual class. I don't know your lesson plan for that day. I don't know their level. I don't know any of the factors that are so important to know for when you do a brain break. My friend Elisa in Oregon recorded at IFLT this year and at Cascadia last year how frequently I did brain breaks. During my workshop with adults, she noticed I gave brain breaks every 6 to 7 minutes, even a 2-second brain break. And she noticed that with my kids at IFLT, my elementary workshop, it was between every 3.5 to 5 minutes. Even if it's just a 2-second, stand up, sit down, that's a brain break. So it's also very dependent on the activity we're doing. The other day I did 4 corners with my 3rd grade class, and there was so much movement that day, and they were so engaged. It was so compelling because it was all about them, that I did fewer brain breaks than I even anticipated doing. Like, they were once every 10 minutes, I think. I have one student who really can't control himself. He's trying, and I'm being very patient, but my other students have started to ask why I don't send him to detention. First, have a private conversation with him. Have you sent him, like, I have a chill out zone in my class. It's a zona de calma, a calm down zone. It's not a punishment place. It's a place where they can like recharge, and they have to fill out a reflection while they're there. I use it very, very sparingly, but that's where they go to be like, if I've had to like interact with you, engage with you multiple times, and you're just not with me, and you're constantly calling out in English, and we're not there. I think I had 3 reflections today. Later in the year, this dwindles to very, very, like almost none ever. That's my goal, at least. I don't know what it'll be like in this new school, but I think we can get there. But they just go and they sit and they fill out a reflection, and then they rejoin the community. And then I welcome them back. That might be something you want to do with him. And definitely have a private conversation with him and say, you know, I can tell you're trying really hard, and I appreciate that, but I need more. How can I support you in that so we can really succeed in Spanish class? I'm so happy I ran across this live. I was thinking today how I needed to go read your blog for this info. Yay! That's awesome. I'm glad you're here. I would love ideas on brain breaks for high schoolers. So this is just brain breaks part 1. I'm doing brain breaks part 2 on Sunday. Definitely Sunday. So the next thing, so when is really, really important. I can't tell you when. If you are a person who really struggles with time management or knowing when, 10 of you just disappeared because you think you don't need to hear the why. I think that it's really important you can set a timer to remind yourself. You can ask a student who's not your top student in the class who kids get annoyed with, and not this barometer student who's going to ask every 2 seconds for a brain break, but somebody who's responsible and reliable that you can be like, hey, Jennifer, when you're going to be my brain breaks person, and when you feel like your brain is really aching and you think that the class is in that same boat, you need to give me a sign. It's going to be like this, and just tell her like a little sign that only you two will know. And this is going to be your secret job. Just you and I are going to know about it, and it'll help me remember to make sure and give you guys brain breaks. Other people set timers. The old trick that people used to say was you should do it based on how old they are or what grade they're in. Like if they're in 3rd grade, or if they're 8 years old, if they're 8 years old, they need a brain break every 8 minutes. No, it's really not based on their age. It's really based on how rigorous is the activity you're doing. What time do you see them in the day? Who are these group of kids that you're seeing? Who are they culturally? Who are these individuals? There's a lot of different factors. Okay, so that's the when. Where? Here's the thing that's going to drive some of you nutso. Where to do a brain break? The best place is in a deskless classroom. And I know so many of you are going to say, well, I'm not ready to get rid of my desks, or I can't get rid of my desks. I do a lot of writing. I do so much writing. It is so important for you to have the space to move and do these brain breaks and do them with frequency and break down walls and barriers, especially because if you need to move kids frequently for seating purposes, like if something's not working and you need to move them around, you can't have the constriction of desks and tables. It is going to take 2 minutes longer, especially if they're a little bit defiant and frustrated about the move. They're going to be moving the tables and moving the desks and making a scene. You can't do that if it's a direct path to the next seat. I have to have my desks in my classroom this year. It sucks. I'm never going to use them. So they're stacked in the back of the room, but they're taking up so much space. But since my humans are still tiny, since my scholars are still smaller and they're in 5th grade, I can still make one giant arc. My biggest class is 29 kids. My smallest class is 27. So I can still fit us in an arc. It's really important. I knew if I needed to, I could do 2, but I need to be able to reach them in a second to redirect them. And to, with just my proximity and my petticoat, like, draw their attention back to me, or to stop a side conversation, or whatever it may be. Just keep their eyes from wandering. That's the where. I so encourage you to be deskless. Yu Ming says, I am deskless this year. I love the space for moving and for me to get to them. It also, Yu Ming is saying, like, get to them. And I think she's saying it in the sense that I was just talking about. And she also might be talking about the community. It breaks down walls. I am part of their community now. They are part of mine. We together create a community because of the space. I have clipboards in my room. My kids use the floor. My kids use their chairs. My kids use their binders. And not a single child has complained about it, because that's how they've seen my classroom forever. Now, if I had been deskless previously and I'm moving, or been desk full previously and I'm moving to deskless, yes, that's a conversation you have, but you say, this is best practice for language learning. I'm really excited about the community we can build, the really cool brain breaks we're going to be able to play, and how we're going to be able to use our new space. It's just a conversation you have. You're not allowed to get rid of your desks. Jennifer, I would continue. I'd be a squeaky wheel. That's what I would do. I would pull up research. There's a great Facebook group called TPRS Deskless Classroom, I think. And if you do a search for admin or research, there are people who have put together presentations for their admin advocating for this. I've had people write to me and say, thank you so much for having a YouTube channel. I was able to use your YouTube channel and show admin, this is what Louisiana Foreign Language Teacher of the Year is doing in her deskless classroom. Look at how her students are speaking the target language. Yes, they show my output videos. Show my output videos. Whatever you need to do to get admin on board with this idea of deskless. Be a squeaky wheel. Keep asking for it every year. Ask for a new space. Somebody recently on the IFLT group showed that they had asked for like this giant theater space that wasn't being used anymore. They got it. Like, just ask for a room far away, soundproof room, put you in the back corner, and you don't need any desks, and you're saving the school money. I got rid of my desk this year, kind of against admin approval, and we all love it. Even admin loved seeing them. My desks are hidden around the room. Movement is amazing. Yay, Tiff. That's awesome. You mentioned a blog about deskless classrooms before. Can you share it again? Yes, I have one that I wrote about being deskless, and it's important for my movement. And in that blog is a link to that Facebook group. Saludos desde Lima. Hola. I'll miss teaching Spanish to my kiddos this year. Abrazos. Merly? You're in Peru? What? That is so cool. Our custodian was just so awesome. I requested to have only chairs 2 weeks before school was going to start. They can't get rid of desks, so they piled them up in the back of the room. That is so sweet. My fiance was my superhero and helped me with that. That's amazing. Viviana posted that blog for me before I did, because she's amazing. Thank you. Trydesklessclassroom.com. Cool. I showed my AP research and he was on board right away. That's awesome. We push desks away, I push in, and the students, oh, cool. So Mindy, you go into classrooms. I admire you, lady. And students move the chairs into a horseshoe. It's pretty time consuming, so I asked the students if they really wanted to keep doing this, moving the chairs, and they said yes. It helps them not be distracted, and I feel like there's more of a sense of community. These are 5th graders. I couldn't believe it. Yes! Take the time. And Mindy's right. Like, it takes time in the beginning, but they're going to get so used to that system. It's going to be faster and faster and faster and faster. Hello from Indiana. Hello from Shanghai. Someone is behind you. Oh my God, don't say that. I'm not even going to look because I get freaked out by that. And it's probably my cat. But you might be talking about last week when Paul scared me during my live video, which was cruel. We compromised in school, got us tables with wheels. That's awesome. Second year completely deskless, and I'm never going back. Dawn, high five. Yay. I'm going to have to see the video later. Connection in China is mala. I'm sorry. I know. China, I lived there. I know. God, I know. I admire you. I'm so sorry, Monica. Okay. So that's the where part. The why. Here's why. It's a break in the rigor. We've already talked about that. Students advocate for them. It allows them to move. Guys, they are not moving enough in a day. Did you know 5th graders really should have 2 recesses in a day? How many of your kids are getting 2 recesses? 6th, 7th, and 8th grade should be moving so much more than they are. Did you know some places are cutting gym programs, or they only have PE twice a week? And since there's an emphasis on health now, thank God, yay, there's less movement in PE than before because it's physical education and health. So you need to be incorporating movement. So it is our job. It's our responsibility to be giving these kids an education as whole people. Like, let them move. Their bones are growing and hurting. Did you know it's physically painful for a 5th grader to sit in crisscross applesauce? And don't make them do that. There's a reason they like standing. They're growing. Their bones are hurting. They're achy. The biggest reason why we do brain breaks is because of the community it builds and because they're fun. Yes, these are fun. They're meant to be fun. This idea that they're these 10-minute long games that you can't regain control, you have to train them, model for them, and show them how you can gain control and get straight back into the target language, and then assure them that the quicker and better they can do this, the more of these games they'll learn. And remember, they're not games. Train them to tell you what they are. They're brain breaks. They're breaks in the rigor. Why do our brains need them? Because it's really challenging and rigorous for our brains to listen to the target language for X amount of time. Yes, you're right. And they're huge community builders because they are playing with everybody in the classroom. I had a really ugly thing happen in one of my classes today with a new student. Something was said that was just not kind. I shouldn't say it was really ugly. It was just not kind. And I stopped for 15 minutes. And this is a class that's been in Spanish for a week. And I stopped for 15 minutes to have a conversation in English about my school path and how I went to a lot of different schools. And every single time it was really hard to start somewhere new, mostly because I was entering into a community that was already established and friend groups who had sometimes been friends for 8, 9, 10 years. And how hard that was. And I just said, we need to remember that new members of our community are making a huge adjustment. So we are going to sometimes play with our best friend in here in a brain break. And sometimes it's going to be a person we don't really talk to that much, maybe outside of Spanish class. But you are always going to play with everybody because that's just how it's going to work. And then the next brain break I did, oh, melt my heart. All of these kids were like running up to the new kid to play with him. I was like, okay, I'm gonna cry now. Kids just need those checks and need to be reminded about community and how important it is to be a part of one, and that's what you're trying to build. No one is behind you. Don't freak out. Thank you, Mindy. It was such an awful thing. First of all, I'm at home, possibly alone, until Paul gets home in a little bit from bike night. And I'm not worried because my fiance is a big monster of a man and he can take anybody from me. But that same monster of a man literally was a total butthead last week during my live video and popped his head here and terrified me. I screamed live, so embarrassing, and now it's on YouTube for everybody to replay as many times as they want. Live with Loca, numero 6, number 6. Second week deck list. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Desk list, and I'm psyched. My high schoolers are starting to enjoy it. In 11 years of teachers, I've never had such engaged students. Yay! Can't wait for an awesome year. So happy I found you and others who are so awesome. Yay, Janine, I'm thrilled for you. Being new stinks. Being new does stink. It's really hard. It's really hard. My heart goes out to this kiddo. Even as a teacher, Grace. Being new right now is so hard at this school. I am so lucky. My team is unbelievable. I am working with a team of teachers who are all praising and pushing each other every single day. We're observed by our principal at least twice a week for a full class period, how it should be. Admin should be in our classrooms. And I have a coach who observes me every single day, at least once a day. And it's amazing. But being new as a teacher where I don't have relationships yet, and I'm so used to having them, is hard because I'm realizing like, oh my gosh, it is really challenging to build these from scratch. But I'm getting there, and it's only second week, so I need to give myself some slack. But I'm already getting hugs. I'm already getting a lot of Spanish is my favorite subject, all these things. But I really want those harder to reach kids first, of course. But anyways, we're getting there. So thank you for joining me for Brain Breaks Live Part 1. I am so excited for Part 2. You have no idea how great it's going to be. We are going to do Part 2 on Sunday, September, wait for it because I don't want to tell you the wrong date. Sunday, September 23rd at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be worth waiting up for. There will be a special guest, a really, really special guest. And it's going to be so great. And I'm so excited. And I'm sounding like I'm getting sick. I'm not, because I can't afford to be sick. I just need to drink some water and blow my nose and have some tea. You put in a long day. Yes. I am going to bed. You said go to bed. Got it. Mommy said I was looking behind her for someone and something named no one. Mom, I love you so much. Tell us who the secret visitor is. I can't tell you. It's so exciting. Dawn, I love you. Hello, Mama Wall. My mother-in-law's on here. I'm so lucky. Okay. Buenas noches, Liliana, my sweet little student. Buenas noches, honey. Thank you, you guys, so much. I'm really excited for Sunday. If you are living anywhere close to Milwaukee, you better come to CI Midwest. It's going to be awesome, and you should totally come to my session on Sunday, regardless of what age you teach, because it's going to be epic. So I better hear about enrollment shooting up immediately after this. Also, if you live close to Louisiana or in Louisiana and you're newer to CI, I hope you come to my CI crash course. It's going to be awesome. You can find out more information on my blog. Or if you go to bit.ly/LocaNola2. I'm going to write it down. bit.ly/LocaNola2. You can find out more info. I love you guys. I have another surprise coming soon with more PD for you. 谢谢，不客气。I'm so glad to have hosted you guys. I love you. I'm going to get this onto YouTube. Oh, I posted some really good YouTube videos tonight, by the way. You should go watch that. Love you. I hope you have a great night. I hope you go to bed soon. I'm going to bed soon. And I will see you on Sunday. It's going to be great. Spread the word. Start spreading now because it's going to be epic. I'm going to make a little thingy for it tonight. I love you. Goodbye.